future. Wonderbag is a product that emerged out of a community project in Tongaat amid Eskom's 2008 power crisis, and that's how it made it onto that list. Joining me from London via Skype is the founder of Wonderbag, Sarah Collins. Sarah, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. I mean, looking at this bag, I wouldn't have known that it does what you say it does. So tell us about how you actually came up with this idea and exactly how it works.
So, Shahan, thank you so much, and it's great to be speaking to South Africa. It sort of feels weird from London. I learned this as a child when my grandmother used to have a box with cushions in it, and she used to bring stews and porridge to the boil on an Aga fire and then put it into the box. And I remember heat retention cooking as a child. So heat retention cooking is an age-old technology, but as a social activist and somebody who's spent my entire life trying to equalize the status quo and looking at grandmothers, particularly gogos, who are spending up to 8 hours a day over fires, I really wanted to find something that was going to change their lives, give them time back, but particularly save them money with electricity. So simply you bring your food to the boil, you put the pot inside the bag, you close the bag, and it continues to cook for 8 to 12 hours.
I mean, it sounds incredible because I'm actually feeling the bag itself, and it doesn't feel like much in there, but of course it has all of that power to continue cooking for all that time. Is it affordable for the people you're actually targeting here? Can people in rural areas who don't necessarily have electricity buy it?
So that's been one of the most exciting things, and I think that's probably why we made it onto the Genius list for time, is the globally conscious business model that we've created. And I am absolutely passionate that development and poverty alleviation is going to happen through business. And so we subsidize the bag to a price that people can afford it in communities around the world. So it's obviously far more expensive in London or in America, and in rural communities in Africa, in refugee camps, people can afford it because we price it at as low as possible. So we also use it as a bartering. So if somebody doesn't have money, as in some refugee camps, we will ask the woman who wants to buy it to cook an orphan a meal a week. So we exchange whether it's some mealies or it's a meal for an orphan. So it really is about making it affordable to people across the world. And it's extremely important to emphasize this model because, people say, oh, but, people have no money. Well, actually, that's not true. We've worked in some of the poorest, most rural areas in Africa, and we charge 20 Rand a bag at a Wonder Feast. And people do have 20 Rand, and we can sell thousands at Wonder Feasts. Now, these are obviously subsidized and in partnerships with companies like Unilever, Pfizer, big family foundations. For every bag that's sold, $1 is donated to our foundation, which we then utilize to create this circular business model.
Yeah, that's great. So tell us how it feels about actually making the Time magazine's top 50 Genius products. I know that you're creating jobs in Tongaat and you're exporting this around the world. I've run out of time, so I just want to get your reaction to what many would call an honor by Time magazine.
Well, I think, I always knew this was a game changer. It is a culturally relevant technology that is changing the way people cook across the world. And I knew it in my heart, but to be recognized by Time alongside some of the great tech global giants that are changing the future, I really know we are solving one of the most pressing problems which is deforestation and people eating off open fires. So in a way, it endorses what I knew in my heart, and I'm an extremely proud South African this week.
All right, thank you so much for your time and the good work. We do appreciate it. That was founder of Wonderbag, Sarah Collins.